want to support the platform just in case anything like this happens again, you can do it by way of PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and also by the Anchor. And you can also further support the platform by way of going to the Teespring store or the shoe store that is located in the comment section below.
We don't talk enough about how passport bros are just predators. You're leaving America to go to another country to prey on the women there who you perceive as being more submissive. That's predatory behavior.
So I'm pretty sure either you've seen this clip before or you've heard it somewhere before. This is not my first time running into this type of logic that you have. And of course, it is coming directly from a black woman. And I find this to always be, such a thing. Right now, some people could state that, oh, she's just talking about passport bros in general. No, 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 no. She's not talking about in general. Whenever you happen to see the black women jumping on and speaking on this, is because black men are doing it. Because white men have been doing this for years. They've been doing this for decades. Black women didn't care because during those times they weren't really seeking or interested directly in uh, white men. They weren't, in white people's business. So I'm just going to try to make people understand this only has to do with a certain segment of the passport bros, more specifically dealing with black men going overseas. That's the only group that they're talking about. They just generalize it to act as though that they're only speaking about everybody when realistically they're not. I promise you they're not, because they didn't care about Asian men doing this. They didn't care about Australian men doing this. They didn't care about Russian men doing this. They didn't care about African men doing this. They didn't care about, any other groups of men, American white men doing this. They only started caring up until this caught up due to the fact of black men being vocal and basically stating that this is something that they wanted to do and they're doing it for these reasons here, right? So she wanted to specifically state that black men who go overseas and yada 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 are in a sense predators or practicing predatory behavior, right? So we got the definition of predatory, right? Number one, living or characterized by preying on other animals. Number two, living or characterized by plundering, pillaging, and martyring. Number three, living or characterized by the exploitation of others for personal gain. And then number four, characterized by plundering, practicing, plundering, and pillaging.
Another one.
Predator, number one, an organism that lives by preying on other organisms. Number two, a person or a group that robs, victimizes, or exploits others for gain. Number three, any animal or other organism that hunts and kills other organisms, their prey, primarily for food. Number four, someone who attacks and plunders for gain. Number five, any animal that lives by preying on other animals. And my favorite, number six, someone who attacks in search of booty. I'm just going to say that I've noticed something, right? That there's a certain segment that want to complain about men getting their passports and, going to venture and see the world. And there's a certain segment that's not complaining about this. I'm not sure if anybody's paid attention to that. There's a certain group of women that complain about men being able to travel, right? Having money, getting their passport, taking trips here, 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 and there, and going everywhere, right? And then there's a certain group of women that see everything that's going on, but they don't care. I'm not sure if anybody has noticed that. I'm just saying, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. I'm just wondering if anybody else has seen this, but never mind. Again, I'm just a little bit confused. Why are there women directly on a multitude of platforms complaining about men that they already said are unattractive? They already deemed these guys unattractive. They already deem these guys as broke. They already deem these guys as nobody wants them. They already deem these guys as pretty much leopards, right? And I'm talking about, the pariah, the outcast, what have you, whatever word you want to use. Just use that, right? They've listed these guys. They already said that they're not interested. They don't want these guys. They would never look their way. They would never give their number. That these guys probably have some type of body odor. What woman would really want you? They've stated everything in the book about guys that they know nothing about and have never had an ounce of an interaction with. So I'm a little bit confused on why it is that these women are making platforms specifically to talk about these guys instead of focusing on the men that they can actually acquire, focusing on the men that actually want them, focusing on the men that they actually want, focusing on the men that they want to get married to, have a relationship, become a fiance, buy a house with, lifelong partners, create a family. Why are all of these women focused on men that they don't want? I need an answer. I need somebody, I need a woman out here to realistically tell me, why is this the case? It's crazy. Now, this is the other conversation that it still has to do with the passport bros that is also taking place as well. You've also had women come out here and basically say that, oh, if you're a guy and you date a younger woman, right? If you're an older guy, let's say like you're 30 and 40, and you date a woman that's in their 20s, they now want to consider you a predator. They now want to say that that's also predatory behavior, which doesn't make any type of sense because everybody is legal. Everybody is an adult. Everybody can make their own decisions. But if I wanted to realistically think that something was some type of predatory behavior, I would think that this would be a clear cut example. Now, I wonder what she would specifically call this woman here. This woman here decided, for whatever reason, not even sure how they met. Um, she decided that this is a guy that she wanted to be with and that she wanted to get married to, and they did tie the knot and get married. From everything that I was able to understand, he is a farmer, so he has, his own land, he has a house, and she, um, how can I basically explain this? Um, she does adult themed parties or gatherings, right? With certain, types of devices, right? And she sells those, and she also considers herself a doctor in that field as well. Um, so yeah, I'm like I said, a lot of people say that love is love, and love has no age, right? But this is looking a bit Anna Nicolish to me. I'm not really getting or gathering uh, what realistically these two people who are literally worlds apart, literally by age, because I'm pretty sure that this man has more than likely seen the 30s. I'm pretty sure he was back in those days to potentially see a Model T and different things run. I'm pretty sure that he was there when streets had some cobblestone directly to them. I'm pretty sure that he's seen a lot of things. So I'm just saying, I'm not sure what people from two different timelines and vastly different eras would specifically realistically even have in common or be able to conversate about.
Another one.
Country to find women who are more submissive, aka lesser than you, and you don't think that's exploitation at all, like not even a little bit. That's literally how black people got to America. It's because white men.
Set with y'all because I know you're mentally ill, which is why one day I'm going to open up a hospital for mentally ill Africans.
So again, I'm just trying to figure out how specifically would that relationship that I was able to show you guys, what would she call that relationship? I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have the exact same wording that she has had specifically for black men, and the types of videos that she has in a sense done, and how it is again that she has specifically spoke on this. And as I've stated before, a lot of the women that are speaking from an area of not getting the men that they specifically want. Because I promise you this, I promise you, I bet $1 million that if this woman here that is speaking negatively on black men, if she were able to get all of the attention from the men that she specifically desires, she would not be worried about whatever the quote unquote passport bros are doing. And that goes for the greater majority of the women that go on social media right now. I'm talking about the black women only, because in a sense, white women have been talking about this for a minute, right? Because their men were sitting up here doing this a while ago, because they just got tired of, in a sense, dealing with them and how it is that certain things were going. It was like, all right, well, if this is how y'all want to act, this is what y'all want to do. We're going to sit up there and just go elsewhere and find happiness there, right? So the moment of time when you have some black men out here deciding that, hey, things ain't really jiving too well, things ain't going a certain type of way, it's looking way too different on the dating scape. I'm like, all right, let me go try to see what I can see elsewhere. Let me take my money, let me save up or whatever it is, and let me go elsewhere. um a lot of these women are not even interested in any of the men that they're talking about. I've seen too many videos again where these women like her have specifically stated that, oh, these dudes are already undesirable. um they're balding. What are you going to even do over there? You're such and such age. All this, like they're really trying to come down on these guys, right? And note, a lot of these dudes who are traveling, they are single. They don't have any type of kids. They don't have any obligations to anything. They literally eat, sleep, and work. That's it. That's it. Eat, sleep, and work. And you have women like her and others trying to specifically state that black men shouldn't be going nowhere. Um, how is it that y'all even spending any type of money when y'all don't got money? Y'all broke. Y'all don't even got any job. Like it's funny. It is so funny how a lot of these things are being stated, and how when you have melanated women, right? And I'm just using that because some of the women I talk about are not Black American. You have melanated women that will decide to have relationships, or you also have some young Black women as well. They'll have relationships with older men. They're specifically seeking out older men. They literally have websites for this, right? But notice how the narrative works. If you're a Black man and you're going out here to a different country, you're automatically a predator, because in their mindset they feel that it's predatory type of behavior because you're just going out there just for one reason. And I'm like, how does that work? So whenever women seek a relationship with an older guy, it's, oh, okay, so it's only specifically for love, it's companionship, it's for marriage, it's for children, it's for a white picket fence, it's to have a happy ever after. No, that's BS. That's BS. We're not doing it. That's clear cut why I showed the video that I showed. That dude in that video was probably he probably seen several wars, including the Civil War. He didn't been here. He probably got a pair of Moses's signed somewhere in his attic. He probably got a piece of like retro Jesus cloth somewhere in his attic. Like, come on now. He was probably there when the Old Testaments were written. But magically, when a younger woman gets into a relationship and gets married to this dude, you don't hear women online saying that this is predatory type of behavior. Like I said, it's funny when it's on one side. No, 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 y'all ain't supposed to be doing that. But when it's on a whole other side, specifically them, it's like, oh, this is girl power. This is what I'm talking about. People are leveling up. People sitting up there doing what they need to do. That's right. Don't be dealing with no bums. That's right. Get your money. All this other type of, like I said, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. 100% nonsense. And matter of fact, let me just step all the way back real quick. So let's re-go over this, right. Stella Payne is a very successful 40-year-old stockbroker raising her son Quincy and living in Marin County, California, who was persuaded by her best friend from college, Delilah Abraham, to take a well-deserved first-class vacation to Montego Bay, Jamaica. As she soaks in the beauty of the island, she encounters a handsome younger islander, Winston Shakespeare, who is 20 years her junior. His pursuit of her into turns into a blossoming romance that forces Stella to take personal inventory of her life and try to find a balance between her desire for love and companionship and her responsibility as a mother and a corporate executive. Hmm. Doesn't that sound a little bit familiar? Doesn't that sound like the route that a lot of the women of now are going to be taking pretty soon? And this is why I said in another video, there's going to be an uptick and a rise in males, in a sense, becoming extracurricular options for women, because as people stated, it's like, hey, I'm independent. I can raise a kid by myself. I can sit up there and do corporate and all this other type of stuff. But still, even though you have the money, you're the boss, you have the child, you have the house, you have the cars, you have the fashion, you have all of this stuff, you're still missing that one thing that you desire, which is companionship. You're not realistically going to get that from a dog. A dog can sit up there, a pet can sit up there, yes. A pet can give you a type of companionship, yes. But it's not the same as a human being. You're not going to be liking the exact same things. You're not going to be talking about the same things. You don't know dog language. So you're not going to be having a conversation. Half of the time, the dog's going to be looking at you with a raised eyebrow like the rock, like, what you talking about? So, like I said before, um, a lot of women will find out. And this is what I try to tell people about predictive programming. The novel that this was written about, that was back in 1996. This movie later on was adopted and came out in 1998. And now from 1998 all the way up until what are we in now? What, 2023? Look at how far everything has transpired. You have, in a sense, a lot of Stellas out here, right? Because as they say, black women are the most educated, right? They're the ones getting the utmost money. They're the ones that are at the head of corporations, opening up businesses, doing all of these things, right? And a lot of those black women don't have companions, even though behind everything else, a lot of those black women want companionship. Like I said, regardless of whatever people want to sit up there and state, I've literally listened to podcasts. I've sat up there and listened to successful, wealthy black. I'm talking about black women that, bringing in six figures and more. Sit up there and speak. And they talk about wanting to date, wanting to find companionship, wanting to be married, wanting to have kids. So, like I said, nobody in the comment section going to be able to tell me nothing different. I'm hearing this directly from women that are in that upper echelon. So, hey, it is what it is. People, everybody feel like they can do whatever it is that everybody else is able to do. So be it then. Like I said, it is directly up to you. I ain't going to stop you. I ain't going to try to tell you no different. You just going to have to sit up there and suffer the consequences when those consequences end up coming. And then you'll also have the other segment that will come up here and they'll be like, oh, well, women don't really need companionship and XYZ and all this other type of stuff. You men always act as though we 100% need you when realistically it's been shown that we don't need you. I'm like, ain't nobody talking to you. Like I said, I'm talking about women that are making six figures. I'm not talking about women who are dreaming about it. I'm talking about women who are running corporations. I'm not talking about women who are just talking about it and talking about other women doing it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about women who are consistently having conversations with dudes who are, millionaires and all this other type of stuff. I'm not talking about broke women who don't even know how to carry a conversation with them. I ain't talking about that. So like I said, if there's you and you going to decide to leave a comment and you didn't make it to this portion of the video, I was obviously talking about you. Just saying, hey, it is what it is. This is why I tell people they need to, watch the whole video before they happen to leave a comment, so people don't end up looking stupid. Um, but yeah, like I said, this is my first known instance of somebody that is black going over to a different area in order to dibble and dabble into a variety of different things. And like I said, nobody saw this as negative during the time. It was fields of black women that were like, that's right, Stella got her groove back. And from this movie, you had a lot of black women like, yo, I'm about to sit up there and go to the islands. I'm about to go here. I'm about to go here and sit up there and see what it is and have fun and da 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 da. Like I said, women be having girls trips. This is what be happening on those girls trips. But don't nobody want to say that though. Nobody want to be real about that though. People want to make it seem as though that it's only men that just go out here and do whatever, and women are oh so conservative. Nah, 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 nah. When women leave these countries, when they go over to other countries where they innocence got a brand new life, a brand new name for however long that they're staying, they're sitting up there visiting a lot of different dudes because ain't nobody here going to know exactly who it is, and can't nobody carry whatever stories that they've seen of her over back to her homeland or wherever it is that she came from. It's going to be what it is going to be. So, like I said, but again, women like her are not going to call that predatory. They're not going to talk about any of these things. They're not going to bring up Stella got her groove back, but they're just going to leave it as men being predatory. All right.